Having a trained musical ear is one of the most important skills required by we pianists, or let's say musicians in general. This ability helps us to be able to transcribe music better and to be able to score any musical piece more accurately. And that is exactly why I'm making this video, especially for beginners and those who are kind of musically deaf, so that we can be able to transcribe music more accurately. So here's an instruction to guide you on how this quiz is going to be like, so that you're not going to get lost along the way. So this ear training quiz, or exercise rather, is going to be divided into 4 levels, okay? Level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Each levels will be subdivided into 10 rounds, okay? So that is level 1 will be divided into 10 rounds, level 2, 10 rounds, level 3, 10 rounds, and level 4, 10 rounds. Now in level 1, it's going to be kind of for beginners level, okay? And that's where we're going to be focusing on the identification of major, minor, and diminished chords by ear. In level 2, we are going to be focusing on the identification of augmented, suspended, and seventh chords. Now, level 3 will be kind of specific. We're going to be diving deeper into the seventh chord, that is identification of the major 7, the minor 7, the dominant 7, and the diminished seventh chords. All this will be under level 3. And finally, level 4 will be a little bit more advanced, where we're going to be focusing on the identification of upper extensions like the add 9, 11, and 13 chords. It's important to note that the complexity of this ear training quiz or exercise kind of increases a bit as we proceed from one level to another level. I would like to know your score over 10 for each of the levels, that is level 1, 2, 3, and 4. I would like to know your score over 10 in the comment section below. Now, just before starting out with this round 1, let me just give you kind of like a sound demo, okay? To just kind of guide your decisions so that at least you know what to expect during the quiz. So if you hear this sound during the quiz, it's a major chord, okay? You can see how bright it sounds, bright and happy. Now, if you hear something like this, it's going to be a minor chord. You can see how that sounds sad compared to the previous one. Minor. And if you hear something like this, now this sounds kind of tense. So this is a diminished chord. So again, major, minor, and diminished. Okay. All right, so let's get started. Round 1. So which chord was played? What chord quality? Major, minor, or diminished? Listen to this. Again. All right, so if your answer was major chord, you're actually correct. This sounds bright and happy. So this is D flat major chord. All right, let's go to round 2. So which chord was played? Major, minor, or diminished? Listen to this. Again. Alright, if your answer is diminished chord, you're actually correct. This is a C diminished chord. Again. Alright, if your answer was a major chord, you're actually correct. This is F major chord. You can see this sounds happy and bright. Again. Okay, is this a major, minor, or diminished? Alright, take your time. Alright, this is a minor chord. So this is F sharp minor chord. If your answer was a minor chord, you're actually correct. You can see this sounds kind of sad or dull. Let's proceed to the next round, round 5. Again. Okay. So if your answer was a minor chord, you're actually correct. This sounds dull, okay, sad. So this is B flat minor chord. So which chord was played? Major, minor, diminished. Alright, so if your answer was a diminished chord, you're actually correct. So this is F diminished chord. You can see it's very clear and obvious how it sounds tensed and unstable. Again. Major, minor, diminished. Take your time. Again for the last time. Okay, so if your answer was a diminished chord, you are correct. So this is G diminished chord, but actually it's inverted. Okay, on the right hand, instead of just playing in this root form, it's kind of inverted. Okay, it changed the sound quality a bit, but if you listen to it properly, you see it's still tensed. Again. Okay, so if your answer was a major chord, you are correct. This is E major chord. So you can see, very obvious, it sounds happy. Okay. Again. Okay. Alright, so take your time for the last time. Okay, so if your answer was a minor chord, you are correct. This is F minor chord. You can see it sounds sad. So let's move to the last round in level 1. Remember, I would like to know your score over 10. Alright, so what chord was played? Listen to this. Alright, so if your answer was a diminished chord, you are right. This is D diminished chord. You can see how I played it. I kind of spread out the notes. Okay, instead of making it clustered like this, I spread them out to kind of make it an open voicing. So if you hear this kind of a sound in a song, this is going to be a diminished chord. Okay. Alright, let's get started with the level 2, where we'll be focusing on the identification of augmented, suspended, and seventh chord. So as usual, let me just give you a kind of like sound demo so that you're going to at least know what to expect in the quiz. I'll actually recommend you take your time in this part to make sure you are familiar with all the qualities before proceeding, so that this is going to serve like a kind of guideline. So if you hear this sound in the quiz, this is going to be an augmented chord, something like this. Okay, you can see it's kind of similar to the diminished chord in terms of characteristic. It sounds very unstable, and most times also want to resolve somewhere. Okay. Okay, especially this sharp 5 interval. Okay, this is going to be the suspended. Okay, you should know this, something like this. It could either be the sus2 or the sus4. You can see that suspension. It also sounds as if it wants to resolve somewhere. Okay. And finally, this is going to be the seventh chord sound, something like this. Okay. The major 7, this could either be major 7, okay, or minor, and also specific on the type of seventh chord. Okay. Alright, so let's get started with round 1. Which chord was played? Was it augmented, seventh, or suspended chord? Listen to this. Okay. Okay, so if your answer was suspended chord, you're actually correct. This is F sus2 chord. You see that suspension. Okay, all right, let's move to the next round, round 2. Okay, all right, if your answer was a 7th chord, you're actually correct. This is E flat 7. You see that's a dominant 7. Okay, so let's move to the next round. Again, okay, so what chord is that? What chord quality? If it's suspended chord, you're actually correct. This is A flat sus 4. You can see. Okay, so these are the suspended chord sounds. So let's move to the next round. All right, listen to this. Again. So which chord quality was that? Okay, so if your answer was augmented, you're actually correct. This is F augmented chord. So you can see it sounds unstable and want to resolve some way. Okay. All right, so let's move to round 5. All right, round 5, which chord was played? Listen to this. So what's chord quality? Augmented, 7th, or suspended? All right, so let's see. If your answer was 7th chord, you're actually correct. This is G minor 7th chord. You can see how it sounds. You can hear the 7th degree clearly. Okay, so let's move to the next round. So listen to this. Again. So which chord? Suspended, 7th, or augmented chord? Okay, so take your time. All right, this is a 7th chord. This is F sharp major 7. If your answer was 7th chord, you're actually correct. You can see 7th degree. Okay, so let's proceed to the next round. So round 7, listen to this chord. So what chord quality is this? Okay, let's see. All right, so this is actually an augmented chord. So you can see that unstable characteristic of the chord. You see. So this is how the augmented chord sounds. So let's move to the next round. Again. Okay. So take your time. All right. So that's a 7th chord. This is F dominant 7th chord. You can see the 7th has the characteristic sound of this chord. All right, round 9, listen to this. Okay, so if your answer was suspended, you're correct. You can hear the suspension of the sound. That is, this is the sus2 chord, G sus2. Okay, all right, so listen to this. Again. Was it augmented, 7th, or suspended? Listen very, very well. All right, so let's see the answer. Okay, so this is actually a major chord. So it's actually not augmented, not suspended, and it's not 7th. This is a major chord. So if you had choose So if you choose augmented or suspended or any of the options, you're actually wrong. I did this on purpose just to make sure you are familiar with how the chords sound. So this is actually a major chord. You can see it sounds bright compared to the augmented, which kind of sounded weird. And the seventh. Okay, so this is the major chord. Alright, let's get started with the level 3, where we are going a little bit deeper into the seventh chord qualities. That is, so let's just kind of reduce the options. So we have the full diminish, we have the major 7, minor 7, and the dominant 7. That's what we're going to be focused on this in this level. So as always, let me give you kind of like a sound demo so that you know what to expect in the quiz. So this is how a minor 7th chord is going to sound like, something like this. Okay. How about major 7? Let me use the same key signature. So this is a major 7. You can see that. Compare this to a minor 7. This is major 7. This is minor 7. You see? Minor 7, major 7. Major 7. Okay. Now these are my dominant 7. In this case, this is a dominant 7. Okay. You can see this sounds a kind of more tensed, okay, compared to the rest. It's kind of more unstable compared to the rest. This is a dominant 7. And this is a full diminished 7. Okay. Okay. A quick recap: major 7, minor 7, full diminished 7, and we have dominant 7. Okay, so I know it's kind of complicated, but just take your time to master all these chord qualities before proceeding in the quiz. And don't worry about difficulties. It's a practical thing and we all get better with time. So let's get started with the quiz. Round 1. Which chord was played? Minor 7, major 7, diminished or dominant 7. Let's listen to this. Again. Okay, so let's see what's gonna be. Alright, if your answer was diminished 7, that's the full diminished 7, you're actually right. So you can coin this from the diminished chord. You can see how this sounds very tensed and unstable, and we just kind of add the 7th. So that's one hint you can use to recognize these chords. Okay. Alright, so round 2, listen to this. Okay. So which chord was played? Okay. So let's see what that's going to be. Take your time for the last time and play it on the higher octave. Okay, that's a major 7 chord. So if your answer was major 7, you're actually correct. So these are the major 7 chords sound like. So let's move to round 3. You see that? So which chord? Is it major, minor, diminished, or dominant? Right, let's listen. So this is a diminished 7. That's a full diminished 7. So if your answer was diminished 7, you're actually correct. So let's move to the next round. You heard that again. For the last time. Okay, so If your answer was dominant 7, you're actually correct. So this D flat 7 chord, which is the dominant 7, like this. Okay, that's the dominant 7 chord. Round 5 again on the higher octave. Dominant 7 again, you're actually correct. So this is still a dominant 7th chord, but this time around F sharp. You can see that characteristic flat 7 sound. Okay. Again. Okay, so for the last time, alright, this is a major 7th chord. So if your answer was major 7, you're actually correct. Right, so let's see. Right, so if your answer was a minor 7, you're actually correct. This is C minor 7th chord quality. So these are the minor 7 chord. Okay. So let's move to the next level. Round 8, listen to this. Again. Alright, so it's a 7 chord which is dominant 7. So this is a B dominant 7th chord in C. Again. Okay, so if your answer was major 7, you're correct. Don't worry about difficulties, it's just involve more practice and we'll all get better. Okay, so this is how the major 7 chord sounds. So round 10, listen to this. Okay, so is this called a minor, major 7, diminished or dominant 7? Again. Right, let's see what this is going to be. Wow, it's a suspended chord. Okay, so I did it on purpose just to confuse. So this is actually out of the options, and this is a suspended chord, and it's not going to be a major, a minor, diminished, or dominant 7 chord. Okay, all right. So I would like to know your score over 10 as always. So now in this level, we are going to be focusing on upper extensions like the add 9, add 11, add 13. Okay, these are the 3 chords we're going to be focusing on in this video. So this is the basic triad, and this is going to be the add 9. So this add 9, you can either call it the add 9 or the add 2. Okay, and the add 11, you can either call it the add 11 or the add 4. Okay, why for the 13, you can either call it add 13 or add 6. They are just the same term. So this is the add 9 because we're adding the 9 or the 2. Okay, this is the add 11. Okay, and the 13. You see the difference? Add 9, add 11, and 13. You see that? Again, 11 and 13. Okay, so just take your time and master out all these sounds before proceeding in the quiz. Let's get started with the quiz. Round 1. Was it at 9, at 11, or at 13? So listen to this. So if your answer was at 11, you're actually correct, even though the screen is not really giving the right answer. But this is the at 11, okay, of C. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so we're adding the 11 to the C major chord. Okay, so this is the at 11. Again, okay. All right, if your answer is at 9, you are correct. We're adding the 9 to the basic triad chord. Okay, let's see. Again, the add 11, I repeated the chord again. Okay, so this is the C add 11. Okay. Okay, so which chord? Okay. So if your answer is at 13, you're actually correct. This is a C major 6 or 13. Okay. All right, so let's see. All right, this is a F 13th chord. Again, I repeated the same chord quality as the previous one, but this time around the key signature changed. This is now in F, so this is the F 13th chord. Okay, just have in mind this characteristic sound of the 13th. Okay, so let's proceed to the next round. All right, round 6. Listen to this. Okay. Okay, so which chord quality? Okay, so let's see. All right, so this is a F sharp major, or let's say add 9. So you see, this is the 9th we're adding to the chord. Okay, the characteristic sound of the 9th chord. Okay, so round 7. Listen to this. Okay, listen to that characteristic sound. Okay, so let's see what chord quality. So this is a 13th chord, D 13th chord, or add 6. Okay, you hear the characteristic sound of the 6 or the 13th. Okay, so let's move to round 8. So what chord? Listen to this. All right, if your answer is add 9, you're actually correct. This is F major add 2 or the add 9. You can see. Okay. Again. All right. If you picked at the 11 chord, you're actually correct. So this is the C at 11. Okay, 11th. So the last round, listen to this. Okay, again. Okay, so if your answer was, let's see, that should be a C major 13th chord. Okay, but what is on screen, C major 13 add 4, still the C major 13. Okay, that's the C. From the 7 we move to the 9, 11 and 13. Okay. All right, guys, that's all for the quiz. I hope you find value. We'll see you in our next video.